In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things you must do if you want to write your own ticket in corporate America. The reason these steps are so important, these 5 steps, I've used them over and over and over again to create success for myself and my family. I used it in corporate America to get 3 raises and 2 promotions in 4 years. I use it again in corporate America to rise to the top 10% of a Fortune 100 company. These methods work if you use them. And let's start with number 1. The first step is you must create a vision for yourself at this company. Ultimately, what do you want to accomplish there? Do you want to be a vice president? Do you want to make $200,000 a year? What is that ultimate vision for yourself? And then once you figure that part out, reverse engineer your thought process. Now you have to go through, okay, if I want to be a vice president, how did the people in those positions get to be vice president? Now, once you figured out what positions led to being a vice president, if that's your goal, you find out whether or not they were a manager first and then became a department head and maybe a director, which led to vice president. What's the length of time it took on average for people to be vice president? And did they have to take additional classes or trainings to move through the ranks? So now you put together now a kind of an outline, a plan that you can follow to get to that position and eventually achieve your vision. Step 2 is your work identity. What is your work identity? What do you want to be known for at your job? This is huge. And a lot of people don't really understand how to establish their work identity. They just go to work every day, um, doing the best in their eyes, but really not establishing themselves or separating themselves from the pack. Essentially, your work identity is what you want to be known for at your job. Do you want to be known as a hard worker? Do you want to be known for someone who gets the job done? Someone who can have big projects, someone who can lead teams. What do you want to establish yourself as? Because whatever your work identity is becomes your personal brand at that job. And so when people think of positions or hiring people, or actually promoting people, they're thinking, okay, who fits that? And if you're not established a good personal brand that comes from your work identity, a lot of times you're not going to get those promotions and those raises that you think you deserve to get. The last part of your work identity is your willingness to personally grow as an individual so you can grow at your job. So those evaluations from your boss, uh, some of them you don't really like, and I understand that, but sometimes there's truth in those evaluations. Find out which part is truth that you can actually work on and fix. Take classes, read books on leadership, read books on improving yourself. Be willing to look at yourself and analyze yourself honestly about what are you bringing to the table at this company for your team, and begin to improve on that. So your work identity, if it's already been established in a negative way, you begin to improve and people can see the improvement. Step 3 is learn corporate culture at your job. What do I mean by that? Every corporation has its own kind of corporate culture in which they promote people from within and give raises based on certain things that they do. And it's usually based on initiatives. They're putting out new things they want to do, ways to improve productivity. It might be a new system coming out that you need to learn and get really detailed on. Those are really important things to take on, because once you take those on and become really good at them, you are priming yourself for promotion down the road. We're currently at step 4, and step 4 is a really critical step, and I'll explain to you why in a moment. But right now, I'm going to offer you a chance to possibly get coaching, personal coaching from me on how to rise through corporate America. Like I said, I've done this before at different corporations. It is a very specific way of going about doing things, but it has always worked. And so, if you want coaching, or even you just want the free checklist to kind of go through and fill out for yourself, I have that as well. Just submit your email down below. There's a link for you to submit your email. But trust me, these 5 steps are almost foolproof unless you are doing something outside of these steps that can cause you not to get raises or promotion. But let's get into step 4. Step 4 is document every accomplishment. Why would you document every accomplishment? It becomes your roadmap to proving you're the person for the job. So most corporations ask you to do a self-evaluation. So at the end of the year, once a year, your supervisor gives you an evaluation, and you also do a self-evaluation. If you've been keeping track of all the things you've accomplished throughout the year, you now have a roadmap for your self-evaluation. Also, if you're applying for a new position at your job, at your company, you can go in and speak to how you took on these different things, how you have done some reading and took some classes on leadership, and you now took on that initiative and you were successful at it. And you can kind of break down very clearly why you're the person for the job. So you must be good at documenting what you accomplished, when this happened, how'd you go about completing this accomplishment, and lastly, why did you do it? These 4 elements must be included when you document your accomplishments, because when you later on in your career or later on that year, when you go through self-evaluation or you're applying for that promotion, you now have a roadmap, as I said before, that you can list out exactly why you're doing what you're doing, how you've been intentional on going about succeeding at this company, so you're the right person to move up the ladder and to promote. We're finally at step 5, which is abundant exchange at work, which means you are always going over and above at work. You're under promising and over delivering. And I do get it. There is a thought process out here is they pay me from 9 to 5, and that's all they're getting, and then I'm going home. And you can do that. Here's the thing. If you have goals and visions, you're not there for them. You're there for yourself. Now they're getting the benefit of what you're doing, but as you go through these steps and you start making these accomplishments, establishing your work identity, and then documenting your accomplishments, and that turns into a list of things that you've done that shines and makes you look good, you can take that to another job. I've often been offered jobs while at a current job because people like my work ethic, they like my attitude, they feel like I'm somebody they want me to work at their company. So this process isn't about your employer, it's about you. It's about what type of career do you want to have. And if you're always giving above and beyond what you're asked, you will never have a problem getting a job. You will never have a problem getting promotions or getting raises. This is why this process works so well, because no one can say anything against giving abundant exchange. If you're always over delivering, what else can they ask for?